Miami for everybody, defensively, offensively, and you're in charge of the secondary. You've got two kids that have signed already. You got Thomas Finney, a local young man who is going to be with you in the spring, and then of course Dallas Crawford. And let's go right with Dallas Crawford. He's a guy that Miami targeted late, felt that he could provide immediate help. What did you see in him, and what made you go right over there to Fort Myers and see if you could pull him out of Southwest Florida?
Well, the biggest thing about Dallas, he's just such a really talented athlete, you know. And when you recruit in DBs, it's always hard to recruit it on a high school level because you never really get to really see them, you know, pedal and open their hips and really get a great evaluation. So you really got to see them live. You really got to get a great shot at seeing them live and spending as much time as you can around them. But he was a kid that was early on was committed to Michigan, and with all the turmoil and everything that went on there, he was a kid that we had already had on our board. So we really looked at him, really evaluated him, got to watch him play basketball a little bit, and he was the defensive player of the year 2 years in a row in that league. And just he was playing quarterback, so he was a really athletic kid that really showed up, and we thought he was a perfect fit for us.
And when you look at defensive backs, and people understand that it's hard to get a great evaluation because of the different type of offenses that you face, that a kid will face in high school, and how does that translate to college football. But you got a chance to see them when they're playing on both sides of the football. One thing you can identify is athletic ability.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just like you said, us coming in late in the middle to the end of December, it's hard. Where normally you're recruiting a kid for a year and a half, so you see him 3 or 4 times. He's in your camp, he's in your junior days and everything, and you get to go watch him play. So when you come in late like we did, then you got to really do a great job of evaluating in that short amount of time. But we think he's a perfect fit for what we do, and he'll be a big part of our secondary.
We were talking to Coach defensive coordinator, Coach D'Onofrio, earlier, and the thing that he made sure that was stressed among the recruits is that they love to play football, the love of playing the game. Not just that they like it or not just that they want to do it, they've got to love it. And Crawford shows that he loves it. I mean, he grew up a Miami fan, was excited to come here, but playing all those positions and then bagging a four-star guy that was really heavily recruited by Michigan is important to help solidify your secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, the one thing we always look for, when you find the kids that really love it and it's important to them, those are the guys that normally are going to succeed at our level because they'll play regardless. You know, it's the same guys that are playing in the schoolyards when they're 8 and 9 years old. You know, they're playing for the fun. You know, and those are the type of kids that we want because they love it, it's important to them, and those are the guys you're going to win with.
And we'll go right local, Miami Central Senior High School. You've got Thomas Finney in. He's a guy that's already enrolled, so he'll get to go through spring practice, spring conditioning. And one thing that I saw when I watched him on tape is you can't deny the speed, can you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's one of the fastest guys in the state, and I mean he's definitely when you're recruiting DBs, but when you're recruiting corners especially, the one characteristic you want fast guys, you know, and he's definitely a speed guy, but he's just not a track guy. He's a football player. So when you can get one of those guys, I mean that's a special combination.
And it's nice to see Coach Telly Lockett of Central. His team won the 6A state championship for the state of Florida. Playing at that level, you know, 6A state of Florida, they're playing some talent, and you got a chance to evaluate him, especially you go into the playoffs. They're playing against top-notch teams and top-notch competition.
Oh, absolutely. And whenever you can take a kid from a program like that, when he comes to our level, then he's used to it because he's playing at elite level of high school ball here in South Florida. So whenever you can get a kid like that, it's to your advantage.
And one thing we want to clarify, Thomas is a football player that also ran track. He's not a track guy that we're trying to convert to football. Even though he was second in the state in a 100-yard dash, he's a guy that loves to go after the football. He's not shy when it comes to tackling.
No, absolutely, absolutely. He's physical. And we always say, hey, we're not recruiting cover corners. We want football players. You know, guys that are going to come up and hit you and love the game, and he competes. You know, and so I'm looking forward to coaching him.
Don Bailey with Paul Williams, the defensive back coach for the University of Miami. And Coach, talk to us, this day is going to pass. You're going to have your pocket full of new players, and you're going to jump right into spring practice. What can Hurricane fans expect the defense to look like under Coach D'Onofrio? What's the theme? I know you can't talk really specifics because you got to put the playbook together, but overall, what will the theme be?
Well, Coach D, he's a very passionate defensive coordinator. I mean, he was a passionate player, and he brings the same thing as a leader of our defense. And the one thing you can see is our guys are they're going to play with energy. They're going to tackle. They're going to swarm the ball. And we're going to have fun. So that's the biggest thing. It's really not much about the scheme. It's about running to the ball and playing with passion. And I mean, that's the one thing we're going to expect out of every kid. So it has no difference what their talent level is. We think we can be a very good defense as long as everybody's swarming to the ball and tackling.
We were talking with George McDonald, the wide receiver coach, and he said one thing for sure that's non-negotiable is that the receivers are going to have to block. And I would imagine that when you talk about your corners, it's non-negotiable. They're going to have to tackle. There's no shy away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, I don't think there's going to be a team in the country that will tackle like we will, because we will do it every day. Like you say, that's non-negotiable to us. Our guys will become great tacklers.
When you get done with this recruiting class and you start for next year, the 2012 group, it won't be long till you'll be out knocking on doors again. What's the story you take into the homes of the recruits for the University of Miami? When you were at Thomas Finney's home or you're in Dallas Crawford's home, what did you tell them and what convinced them that this is the place for them to be?
Well, the University of Miami is a very special place. I mean, it's rich in tradition, and it's an easy sell. I mean, you got a small private school that has a beautiful campus. So you
15
have
kids in a classroom.
I mean, it's unbelievable with that aspect of it. And then you take the weather in South Florida. There's nowhere in the country that has better weather than South Florida. Number two, and then the last thing is the football, just the football tradition. The football tradition is unbelievable. I mean, you're talking in the last 27 years, 5 national championships, playing in 10 of them. 45 pros in the NFL. I mean, it just speaks volumes. I mean, a kid that doesn't want to be a part of that tradition would scare me away, So, I mean, there's just so much to offer here. I mean, you don't have to compromise anything.
I'd like to announce also that Miami just got word that Kevin Grooms, he's classified as an athlete, a 5'9", 165-pounder from Hollywood. He went to South Broward High School. His letter of intent is in today. So Kevin Grooms joins us now and is a future Hurricane. And let's spend a minute on this classification as athlete. When a player comes in as an athlete like Kevin Grooms, does he go onto the board, and then is it the best fighter gets him? I mean, you know what I mean? The position coach who needs him the most. How does that work out?
Well, it's really what Coach Golden, when he recruits an athlete, he's a kid that in our minds can play numerous positions, whether it's running back, receiver, he'll be a return guy, and he has the athletic ability to play DB. So, I mean, we're going to bring him in and see where he fits the best. But he's just a dynamic athlete and a special kid. So
when you go and you spend time through the evaluation process, there's different people that do it different ways. Every university seems to have their own route. Let's go to the evaluation for a minute. You take that player who just came on, you take Grooms, and how many people look at the tapes? You know what I mean? What process do you go through and saying, you know what, this kid can play here?
Well, just the whole evaluation phase of it starts with the recruiting coach. So the recruiting coach, he'll throw the tape on, or he'll see a live evaluation, and he'll be like, okay, I like this kid, I think he can play here. So it's the recruiting coach's job to take it to the position coach, and then the position coach evaluates it and see if he's a kid that he thinks fits our needs or fits our package. And once the position coach okays it, then the position coach takes it to the coordinator. And then once the coordinator okays it, Then we proceed with offering the kid and trying to get him here and get him around and trying to get to know him, you know, and develop a relationship with him and his family. And that's pretty much the process of it.
All right, Coach, we were joined with Coach Paul Williams, the defensive back coach. And Coach, I'm going to let everybody know that you did set a record when you were in college. You set an NCAA playoff record with a 100-yard interception return against Hofstra in 1995. That must have felt pretty good, going goal line to goal line for some points, huh?
You know what? That felt great, but that's my senior year, and I never, like, you go through college as a DB and you want to have a pick for a touchdown, and I never had one. So I'm going through my career and I'm getting to the end of it, and it just happened at the right moment. It ended up sealing the game. But
I'm glad you didn't get caught from behind, Coach. They'd never let you forget.
No, I was a track guy too. I wasn't going to get caught.
There you go. All right, we're going to throw it right back over to Joe Z, who's the man giving us all the updated information here on National Letter of Intent Day.